Now, back to WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro.
What's up, WFO Universe? Welcome back to NHRA Nitro Podcast. The countdown begins this week. That's right. The NHRA playoffs, the countdown, the road to the championship. However you want to look at it, the points have been reset, and the championship run begins this weekend in Maple Grove, one of my favorite places to go, and hopefully you will all be there. It is going to be mega as we start again. All the teams have been planning for this. They all have to be great. They have to be at their best at the very same time. It is the battle for the championship, and I am super excited. We are going to hear from U.S. Nationals winner Doug Kalitta just seconds from now. And on this week's series of interviews, you're going to hear everybody talking about the countdown, some indie throwbacks, but it's all focused on the future in that imagine it's Super Bowl week, right? And we're starting the playoffs, say. And everybody's getting geeked up. I know MLB fans are, and NFL fans are just getting started thinking about their season. But this is, for drag racing, it should be the most interesting time of the year, where everybody is wondering who can raise their game to the next level, who can catch a break, who can fire a shot at someone that they're not supposed to beat. And it's going to be interesting to see. WFO Radio will be with you through the whole deal, the whole playoffs, the whole run, and into the offseason, by the way. So we encourage you to subscribe, click subscribe, and never miss a show. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, including the free mobile application for iPhone or for Android. Right now, though, I want to tell you about the sponsors who make this show possible. WFO Radio is possible because of people like Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School and the Dragster Adventure. You know, the holidays are coming. You can send your loved one, your husband, your wife, your children, your father on a great thing called the Dragster Adventure in 2020. Courses start at $399, but it's basically a full-day experience with Frank Hawley and the people at Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Go to frankhawley.com to find out more information. Of course, there's licensing courses and all kinds of great programs for the bracket racers out there who want to get better. You can even learn to drive an alcohol funny car. 866-480-7223, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Check them out. But the Dragster Adventure is the one that I think that the everyday listener, right, somebody who's out here on WFO every week, you can do it and go through it and enjoy it and appreciate it. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology for all you engine builders out there, whether high performance or otherwise. They are the best in the business. They learn what they need to learn in the world of motorsports, and then it translates to the regular road cars. TotalSeal.com. Tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio, the leader in ring seal technology. MagicDryUS.com. Scott Palmer's sponsor, Magic Dry, stepping up to support WFO Radio here in 2019, and they do a great job. If you've got a shop, if you've got a factory, call 833-221-2257 and get one of their spill kits. Simple as that. If you've got a cat, get Cat Spot. It's made of the same stuff, coconut husk. It absorbs 560% of its weight in liquid, and it travels way light, and it is organic, the official organic absorbent of the NHRA. Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com. Marvin Rodak, our buddy. Here's the deal. Marvin going to be down there in Fort Worth, Texas. Rodax coffee is how I start every day, with Rodax coffee, and it is just fantastic. They have got all kinds of different blends, drag racing themed blends. They've got the exotics. They've got the Haitian Blue Mountain coffee. They've got all the great stuff, including hot sauces and spice rubs that you will absolutely love. Give Marvin a call. It starts with a phone call to Marvin, 817-924-6821. Call RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Samtech.edu. There'll be a new factory stock podcast coming out real soon. The School of Automotive Machinists and Technology, Samtech.edu. Here's the thing. All you young people out there, people who are still thinking about your education, what you want to do, it's better to do something you love. Simple as that. Do what you love. And if you love working on cars, becoming a high-performance engine builder or a machinist is something you will always look forward to going to work. They got engine block machining, cylinder head machining, CNC machining, and EFI calibration. All of these things are available at samtech.edu. Go to the website or call 713-683-3817. Hangstafers, metalworking lubricants. Talking about Hangstafers Laboratories. Go to hangstafers.com. Been doing it since 1937, and their job is to make your machine shop work a little bit easier, as in more efficient, as in your cutting tools last longer, as in your surfaces are better, go to hangstiffers.com to find out more information. Hangstiffers Laboratories, and they do a great job with all the best teams out there. Certainly, you can ask them yourselves. Also on board, AussiePerformance.net, Drag Racing Edge Magazine, and EV3 Drag Racing. Those are our sponsors, and I appreciate you guys listening to the people who make it possible. Without these sponsors, WFO Radio is not possible. And I know maybe you guys don't need piston rings at this moment, but you might. Maybe you don't need copperhead gaskets right now, but you might in the future. But coffee you need, right? I know that. And you're looking for a great Christmas gift at all times. We're going to keep you heads up on that. All right. It is playoff week in the NHRA. We are getting ready for the first race of the countdown, but we have got to look back. Joining us now, he won the Chevrolet Performance U.S. Nationals for the very first time, a very popular win. Doug Kalitta is with us. Doug, congratulations.
Well, thanks, Joe. Appreciate you having me on today.
I am thrilled. Well, the idea that you went out there and won Indy, you get that top-line resume material, right? Doug Kalitta has won the U.S. Nationals, and everybody wanted it for you. Everyone that I was talking to, not that anyone was rooting against Billy because he's a wonderful person and we love him, but he's kind of at the start of his arc, right, as a top fuel driver, where you have invested so much in the sport for so many years, and you delivered, you got it, and, how does it feel having won Indy?
Yeah, it was definitely on the to-do list for a long time. And, I've got a lot of support from, even Tony Schumacher up there in the telecast thing. He's obviously, had great luck at Indy, and he was always a tough guy to beat at Indy. And, but no, getting that win there was, just a huge deal for me and my family and definitely, my team. So it was definitely a good day.
Seeing the video of Connie, just, here's a guy who's been so successful over the years and has really empowered so many people to go out and live their dreams and have a good time because he loves drag racing, all of you guys working on it. I know you have got an independent business and all, but I've seen him win races, but he doesn't react like that. This was a different level reaction for Connie Kalitta.
Yeah, that's obviously grown up in the sport, this is the 60th year this year we're celebrating. And, early on, just year after year, Indy in the sport of NHRA drag racing is just, if anybody has lived it, it's Connie, and how important that thing is. And it was a huge deal for when he won that thing back. I think it was in 94. Yeah, I think it was 94, 95, but anyways, yeah, he was super excited. It's nice to see him, that excited. So, and obviously with JR winning the thing the last couple of years too, it's really meant a lot to him.
The U.S. Nationals has really been prioritized for Kalitta Motorsports. And I was just thinking about it, like, you this year, JR the previous 2 years, then a little break in the action, but then Alexis won it. And it has been a really good several years for Kalitta Motorsports at the U.S. Nationals. Is it something that you guys are talking about from the start of the season, right? Like, if I was going to compare it to another form of racing, it is really our Daytona 500, right? Where people, if you can't win the championship, if you win the Daytona 500, you've done something great, and everybody plans for that totally independently of the rest of the season. Ours is the last race of the regular season, so I don't know if you can do that, but is this something that you guys plan for from the start of the year?
Like you say, that's, if you don't win, winning the U.S. Nationals championship kind of rank right up there with one another. So it's interesting that that's the way it is. But, there's just a tremendous amount of history. Indianapolis is, such a racing town. And, I guess it's fitting. So, but now we're on to definitely trying to take the last 6 races here and, it's hard to move on from winning Indy, but we're definitely gearing up now to to get after it here for the next 6 races. Unfortunately, now we're with the way the point system is for me, for sure. Thank goodness, because Steve Torrance was way out there points wise. So it's kind of an interesting time here, to win the U.S. Nationals and then be 20 or 30 points behind Steve Torrance again. It's almost both of them are hard to believe. Yeah, so we're just hoping to make the best of this opportunity for sure.
Oh, I know. It's amazing, and some will say that it's not right, and others will say that, hey, this is the playoffs. That's what I say. It's the playoffs. Regular season, that was great. Yeah. This is the playoffs now, and everybody resets. It's just like in football. The team that has been perfect in the regular season can lose in their first game. It can happen, and everyone will say, well, that's on them. Everyone is at their best at the right time, but I don't want to move on yet, Doug. I got to lament. I got to continue to think about Indy. Let's talk about some independent races.
Okay.
I want to bring you back, Doug. We got to spend a little more time on it. You and Clay Millican, though, it doesn't happen unless you treat Clay Millican by 3 thou. And that to me is like the essence of drag racing. Like the whole day could have been totally different if not for 3 thousandths of a second on the starting line in round 1. First pair out.
Yeah, that was, and Clay, those guys have definitely been running good. So, but what an incredibly close race, and, I felt after that it was, if we were on, that was going to be it was a good start of the day and try to make the best of this situation because that was just way too close for comfort.
Yeah, I can imagine. And Clay's got to be, bummed out. But in the end, that's what it's all about. And then second round, you got to go up against Brittany and Grubnick, who you guys know well, and had been on rails all weekend long. Another number 1 qualifier. And you guys, not only did you leave on him and her, but you outran them, which that's mission accomplished right there.
Yeah, like to say, the low qualifier, you got the second round. You never can tell what's going to happen, especially, with Sunday warming up. I was kind of hoping for warm weather, because qualifying at Indy was just incredible. I mean, the conditions were, so we were just hoping to get by her, and it was a thing of beauty for sure to get by both of the, Brittany and Grubby. He's doing a hell of a job on that thing.
It's interesting to look at the names that you beat because it's a changing of the guard in many ways of drag racing. Here, Doug Kalitta has been involved for a long time. You are the sports veteran in Top Fuel, having had the most races and the milestone victory and the milestone number of starts, all of that. But, going up against Brittany Force, going up against Austin Prock, right? Like these are new names, relatively new names to be going through. When we look back at the line about how you won, it's going to be interesting because I feel like these are the names that are going to take us through the next 20 years of drag racing. And Billy Torrance, maybe not 20 years, as long as he wants, right?
Yeah, that, and with Austin Prock, another John Force car, so the quality of the effort and Austin, he's driving the wheels off that thing. So it was another great, big round for us to get by Austin third round, and we went down the track, and I think he smoked the tires, and but no, it was a huge round for us. And then obviously to get us in a position and to make it to the final. So
did that make it? It was going to be a first-time winner, right? It was you and Billy and the Capco team. We were just talking about them, how great they are, and they've put together such an amazing program in the way that they do it and the passion with which they do it. All great. But at the same time, does it make it any easier knowing that, okay, nobody here has won the U.S. Nationals, and it's kind of on the table for either of us to take?
Yeah, that was, it was, as far as I was concerned, I mean, it was, just another great opportunity to go up there and see what we could do. And, it was, in my opinion, just crazy that we both lost our blower belts when we did and smoked the tires and both coasted across the finish line. I mean, I was out there thinking that this is it. He's going to go blowing by me. And what a sigh of relief when my win light came on. The win at Indy, coasting across the finish line, just didn't seem possible to me.
and you'd run it up a year ago. That's like a moment that I don't want to say it was lost to history, but you know how it is, right? Like once you win the race, everybody talks about the winner, and the guy who runners up is kind of left to deal with it on his own. But you guys had to deal with that for an entire season. That was a whisker last year. To be able to come back, make the final round, and come out on top this time, the word relief is what comes to my mind. But yeah. I want to ask you, because you never give the impression that this stuff, racing in general, gives you any negativity. That's what I get from you. Like it almost seems like if you had never won the U.S. Nationals, you'd be bummed, but it wouldn't affect you in any real legitimate way. What about that? The word relief. Was there relief? Were you like feeling, oh my gosh, I got to win Indy? Or is it just your love for the sport carries you through and you've won Indy and it's great? Give me some thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, you don't want to show all your cards, but it was definitely a big moment for me. And, obviously after 21 years and I've been to the final more than once. So, and again, like last year, I mean, dropped the cylinder pretty much from the hit of the gas and just motored down there and got whooped. And, it really did carry with me all year long. Every time you hear, anything about the U.S. Nationals from the previous year, it's just the one that just got away. So, but no, believe it or not, I'm pretty passionate about this thing, and and it was a huge win for me and my family. So it very cool.
So great to hear, and so great to see, and I'm interested in what's going on at the team. Obviously some changes last year. Now you've got Troy and Rob, and everybody kind of it looked like working on a program for the first half of the season, right? Like just kind of like figuring out maybe this is true, maybe it's not true, but a new process. And now the past couple of races, it's like, oh, this is working, and you go out and you win Indy, and now it is time for us to talk about the countdown. Do you have a program that you feel like can carry you through these 6 races? And that's the deal with the countdown, right? It's not about winning 1 race or 2 races. It's about being consistent over 6 races. And if you can't do that, you can't really win, because somebody is going to be. So have you guys developed something you feel like is good for these next 6 races?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been trying to position ourselves for, and us and everybody else that's out there in the Top Fuel world. So real proud of the effort these guys have put in. I mean, like you say, Rob, Flynn, and Troy, they're working real hard together. They're spending just an incredible amount of time trying to look at everything that we're doing and trying to figure out how to run, in the 60s again, because it seems like after Indy, they were giving them away there. So it was, we still got a little work to do with trying to get to where we can run in the 60s and not really hurt the engine, because we're really pushing it hard, and the margin of error is a little higher with running 60s. You can't afford to blow an engine up every time you go down the track. So it's real important that the engine's happy and everything else, and they're just doing a hell of a job with that thing. So we're hoping that this year we've got what it takes to obviously run with these guys and go more rounds than anybody, for these next 6 races. So real proud of the effort, and we'll see, looking real, it's looking good. I think I really feel confident about where we're at right now. And now it's a matter of going to Maple Grove. And it was interesting. I had seen I think it may have been something that you had posted, but the guy that wins Maple Grove, statistically over the past whatever, has gone on to win the championship. So definitely want to do good at Maple Grove this coming weekend for sure.
Yes,
started out right.
Well, exactly. It's just it's getting the whole shot on the field in the championship race is really what it is, and it's going to be great. And that's one thing I've been trying to hype the audience out there. And one area that I don't know that we as a sport, like all of us, have done the best job of the past couple of years of focusing everybody's mind on playoffs start now. Whatever sport that you follow, when the playoffs start. If it's soccer, we're talking Champions League, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
When it gets started, everything else kind of falls by the wayside, right? Whether personnel situations or little sub-stories, and everybody focuses in. These 10 teams have got a legitimate chance to go out and put something together, make their dreams come true, and validate this whole exercise that we're doing. And I'm going to spend the whole week doing that. I can tell that you guys are already very focused.
Yeah. That looking forward to it. Yeah, it should be interesting, and it'll definitely be a lot of fun. So just got to bring your A game. That'll be the name of the game for me and my team, that's for sure.
Speaking of fun, though, you did have a little fun before you got into full-on championship mode. I got 2 questions for you. First of all, most recently, you and JR out there slinging dirt in midget cars. You have a very legitimate, like, USAC background, and was that like a super flashback for you to go and sling a little dirt in some dirt track cars?
Yeah, it really was. I think I won like 14 midget races in my career. Actually, they're all on pavement. So, but I did run a fair amount of dirt. But it was just a ton of fun. I mean, I hadn't driven one in a real long time. And Keith Coons, who works with Toyota, he runs 6 or 7 of these cars at all the races that he goes to. So it was just an incredible opportunity to be in a real good car, make some laps at the Indianapolis. The track was right in the middle of the Indianapolis 500 track, so it's just a ton of fun. We had Eric Jones was out there with us as well, and then we had Christopher Bell was one of the coaches, and mine was a guy called Tucker, and then but what a great opportunity, and just a ton of fun. And yeah, JR, for not having a lot of time in a midget, he did a great job as well. So
I'm sure he's super stoked about that, because he's like he's a super dirt track fan, right? He's out there kind of, hanging out with the dirt slingers on a regular basis, and then he comes to work with the drag racers, which is great. But to get the opportunity, it had to be a little bit of an intense moment for him, right? To go out there and be able to do it and do it right and show he's got some talent. And I guess he did.
Yeah, no, I think he did. Yeah, I was probably not on the gas like I used to be, but it's just out there having some fun. I didn't want to wad up anybody's car,
right,
or do anything stupid or make myself look stupid. But definitely had a lot of fun. And and obviously at that event, Brian Clausen was the focus of the event, and they're building this thing up every year. And Brian was just an incredible racer, as you and your fans probably know. So it was just a great event, really.
Yeah, it's and that's the downside of our sport, is that every now and again we're spending time. You know this better than anybody. That auto racing, as much fun and great it is on the best days, there are some very tough days, and it's good that you were out there, celebrating Brian's life in that he was a great talent, right? And we lost him.
Yeah, and at the Indianapolis track, there's there's a 2 great memorials for one is Blaine Johnson, and the other one is Robbie Stanley. They're right next to one another. They're on the grounds at Indy, and I have to admit, I grew up racing with Robbie, against Robbie, and not so much Blaine, but it's just 2 guys that I've really looked up to over the years, in both disciplines of racing. And it's kind of cool that they're both at that Indy track, and I always make a point to drive by it each year when I'm at Indy. So, but just anyways, a couple of my heroes for sure.
Yeah, it is. It is great to hear that there's a spiritual side to go along with the racing, and I know that, but. The fans, they go home at the end of the day, they celebrate the day that they've had, and if their driver won, it is great. But you guys that, live this life, right? You'll be at the next race. You've been doing it for a while. There's a different level of commitment, obviously. And it's great that you were able to go out and get that win at the U.S. Nationals, Doug, and just enjoy it. Bring so much joy to Connie and everybody on the team. That's what made it great. And hopefully the start. Hopefully just the start of what could end up being an amazing season for you guys. Good luck in the countdown, Doug. Thank you for coming on WFO Radio, making the time for us. I know you're super busy, but the fact is that here we go, right? 6 races to glory from Reading to Pomona. What will happen, nobody knows.
Yep, it'll all my favorite tracks, so we'll see what happens.
Doug, thank you for coming on WFO Radio Podcast. I really appreciate it. Have yourself a great day.
Okay, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Doug. Doug Kalitta with us here on WFO Radio Podcast. Click subscribe to hear more interviews like this one, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and otherwise. And big thanks to Doug for coming on the show, giving us a full debrief. And I don't know that Doug, he loves drag racing so much, but the way he positions himself, he says he keeps the cards close to his vest, right? He doesn't want to let people know that, man, I was desperate to win this one, but now he's won it. And so it doesn't even matter anymore. He's an Indy winner. And I'm so happy for Doug Kalitta, let me tell you. I always root for the best story. That's pretty much what has happened to me as a fan, right? Years ago, I was a fan in the grandstands and watching so many races for so many years, going back to 1980. And I had my favorites: Garlits, Snake, Lee Shepard, Warren Johnson, Frank Iaconio, right? Those are my favorites. And as time went by, my favorites transitioned. I rooted for Larry Dixon. I rooted for John Force when he was with Pontiac. I rooted for Warren and Kurt Johnson. But then as you get to know everybody, you realize, man, who am I to have one loyalty versus another? And doing the show, of course, there's a couple of factors that come in. But really, it's the best story for drag racing. What's the best story for drag racing? What's going to make people in drag racing happy and satisfied? And what's good for this? And what needs to happen as far as the cosmos goes? And that's kind of where I always spend a little time thinking. And I think Doug Kalitta was the great story. Knock that off the list. Doug Kalitta, the greatest driver who never. Wrong. He's won Indy. And that is the sport's biggest race. And made a lot of people happy in the meantime. We're going to have more interviews coming. So be subscribed and download the WFO mobile app. Of course, Total Seal Piston Rings and Magic Dry US, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Rodax Coffee and Grills.com, HusseyPerformance.net, Hanks Defers Metalworking Lubricants, Samtech.edu, Drag Racing Edge, and EV3 Drag Racing. Supporting WFO Radio one way or another. Also, remember, WFO Radio T-shirt Day is Saturday at any national event. And you can get your WFO Radio T-shirt at the Nitro Fish trailer. Just walk up and say, WFO, and they'll know what you're talking about, I think. Do that. Or nitrofishracing.com if you want to wear your WFO T-shirt on Saturday. Certainly do it. Go to nitrofishracing.com. You can get the link at the website on WFOradio.com. We got more coming. There's a lot of great stuff in the archive, though. If you did not see this past weekend, Megan Meyer and Alex Laughlin and Austin Williams, stock eliminator winner, and Jerry Savoy all appeared in the archive. And you can go back and check them out. Alex Laughlin, just great insight. He loved winning, but not the way he won. Feels a little dissatisfied about it. And he's got something to prove. That's great. Jerry Savoy, goes and breaks down the countdown. The people who are, the threat and what he's planning to do and how he's going to try to accomplish what he wants to accomplish, all of these things. Hit into the archive. Check it all out. Big thanks to everybody who supports the show. More WFO coming. Stick around. NHRA Nitro coming at you.
WFO! The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
I love WFO Radio.
Oh, yeah.
You're working in the shop, you've got spills, you've spilled oil, it's everywhere. What are you going to do? I know what you're going to do, but that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to go to magicdryus.com and order the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association, Magic Dry. It's lighter, it absorbs more, it's better for the environment. It's made out of coconut. It's made in America. magicdryus.com. They've got spill kits that include everything you need for a regular, normal household spill, all the way up to a large industrial spill. We always say if you've got a cat, get CatSpot. If you've got a shop, if you've got a factory, if you've got a spill, call Magic Dry. That's magicdryus.com. Attention adrenaline junkies, Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure is calling you. Rides available for the 2020 season. Go to frankhawley.com. They're coming to a track near you. It makes a great gift, and you know the holidays are coming, whether it be licensing for Super Comp, Super Gas, all the way up to Top Alcohol, they can do it. But if you're a drag racing fan and you've always imagined what it might be like to drive a dragster, to accelerate 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and run 10s in the quarter mile, give them a call. 866-480-7223, frankhawley.com, the Dragster Adventure, and tell them you heard it on WFO.
WFO Radio is brought to you in part by Extreme Velocity 3 Drag Racing. Download for your mobile device. Win your way on the show. WFO.
This is WFO Radio.